All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another exciting Girl Gamer Talks taking place right here internationally. And this time is going to be a very interesting topic. We're going to talk about parenting and gaming. Ladies and gentlemen, this panel is pretty hot. I got to say, we got some amazing people here. First of all the way from France, we have an amazing, talented CSGO player. Her neck never lagged. She's been doing noise internationally and nationally. At the same time, she's been traveling around the world, winning competitions, showcasing and flexing her muscles with her CS:GO talent. And now she has a beautiful family as she freelancing in communication and in the commercial industry. Ladies and gentlemen, Julie Chehab. Hi, Julie. How are you?
Hello, thank you for inviting me, and I'm really fine. I'm really enjoying the way the thing. I'm sorry.
Okay, you're doing great.
I'm sorry, my English is bad, but what I want to say that I'm so happy to be here and to talk about that because it's something really important, I think, and industry of video game grow up, and this part of the topic is way more important now. So I'm really happy to be here.
We are happy to have you. Definitely.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us. It's a big pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, now on to our next panelist, ladies and gentlemen. She happens to be the founder of Scuba, where she helps parents and caretakers protect their kids online. She is on the Forbes 30 Under 30 honoree and serving as the Forbes board of the U30 community. Along with that as well, she has been named as the Cybersecurity Personality of the Year 2020, and she has a holistic approach to keeping kids safe while gaming online. Ladies and gentlemen, Fareedah Shaheed. Fareedah, how are you?
Thank you. I'm doing absolutely amazing. Anytime I can talk about this subject, I'm elated.
I can tell. Amazing. I mean, there's so much to be talked about here, so can't wait to dive into it. Awesome, awesome. And ladies and gentlemen, right now to our another member taking place right here in this panel. He happens to be the first Dutch player to receive the top sports athletes in 2017, an ambassador of the Dutch Esports Association, the founding member of the Athletes Commission at the IESF. As well with that, he is the vice chairperson of the Athletes Player and Community Commission for the Global Esports Federation. Along with that, he's involved in a special medical study with as a gamer in the Netherlands with a master's in medicine. As well, he is the famous person who brought you the GeForce Gamer Guide model used by parents and children to live a balanced lifestyle and the founder of Parents of Play. Ladies and gentlemen, we have Mr. Koen Schobbers. How are you?
Thank you, doing fine. Thank you for the invitation as well. Look forward to talking about this, I think, very well-known topic for many parents, at least. Maybe for the gaming kids, it's a very annoying topic still, but hopefully in the future we can change that, right? So, yeah, look forward.
Amazing, amazing. Well, I know there's a lot to be talked about here when it comes to gaming and parenting and all of that. It's just, I want to take a moment here where it's just, I would say it's phenomenal right now. As in the last 30 years, we're all gamers, right? We've been playing all our lives. And just a few years ago, we were just sitting, playing games, and our parents been telling us, gaming is bad for you. Stop gaming. Go study. Get a real job, get a real life, and you would think you're not sure what's gonna happen. And now we're living in the future, you know and guess what's happening? Gaming is becoming one of the biggest industries, and now there is a growing need for people to understand gaming as an industry, as a social study, economical study, and all that kind of stuff. But as parents as well, now I think we have a better chance to learn more about gaming and how can actually have a better lifestyle with it. So my question would be, is like, what do you think of this transition from what it was and what it is today, how gaming was to parenting, and how is gaming today for parents? Starting with you, Mr. Koen.
Well, I think that many of the parents that now have teenager kids basically had their own teenage years in the time where internet just started, or maybe even before internet. Many were born before the internet period, starting in 92, 93. And eventually they got in touch with the internet and therefore online gaming and that sort of stuff. So in the past, there were so many other activities that they had to think of. And it's just two completely different worlds, because they were growing up in a world that didn't really have the digitalization and gamification and technology and innovation that we have nowadays. And that's immediately what I try to say, is that the kids nowadays grow up with this environment. And you can't, of course, as a parent, stick with mind and body in the past. You got to go along with time. You got to know what's going on and try to understand in what kind of environment the children of nowadays are growing up into, or are growing up in, and try to help them with your life experience. Even though history won't repeat and history is different, you do have a lot of life experience that you can give towards your children to help them during these turbulent times.
Wow. Well said, sir. Well, Julie, what you have to say?
For me, saying me, I'm the generation I used to play when I was younger, but my parents didn't know about this technology. They grew up without internet, without computer, without everything. So it was quite difficult to bring it for my parents, to tell them, sorry, now I'm gonna stop work, I'm gonna play fully. And so they couldn't imagine that it's the kind of life I wanted. And but I had changed that they follow me in this way. But I know some people, the parents say, no, I'm sorry, no. So yes, now the transition, I can speak with my colleague at work, they have kids younger, and they see at television, they see that it's a big industry now, and they are telling me, do you think he can be pro player? They're asking me this question now. So it's funny, because the mind's changing a lot, and I see the two versions, and it's quite amazing. People start to know about the video game and industry and change the way to look at it. So it's kind of amazing, and yeah, it's a big changement, I think, and now people have to live with it. Yeah.
Right. Totally. Fareedah.
I definitely agree with Julie. It's now, I love seeing the change and the shift. So more parents are trying to figure out, okay, I'm looking into the esports thing, or they don't know about the esports, or they have a kid that's just a gamer and they want to support them, but they're really worried, at least on my side in the security end, they're so worried about, who are these strangers that they're playing with? I don't know them. How can I trust them? Is there a community for parents? So I'm getting a lot of questions in that regard. And I'm really happy that we're getting those questions, because it's important to have those conversations, because when parents are bringing it up, that means that they're thinking about it and they're trying to find a solution, because sometimes they're not even thinking about it. They just shut the door. They're like, nope, this is bad. This is terrible.
Right.
So it's how you said at the beginning, they're just like, no, my kid will never be able to do this. But to see parents more open up and go, okay, my kid will not shut up about this game. Can we talk about this? Because they're talking my ear off. I don't understand what's happening. So we're seeing a shift, and I'm happy about it.
Amazing.
I think
now,
if I could,
go ahead.
Yes, if I could reply, I completely agree. And also, there's a little bit of stigma that Fareedah just mentioned, the fact that people would, in the past especially, put you in these boxes like, oh, you're a gamer, or you're esports, what is it, all that sort of stuff. They have a certain image to what a gamer is, so they would put you in that box. And nowadays people ask questions, so you have the chance to actually explain yourself.
Totally true. That is definitely happening right now. And speaking about safety and all that, I mean, back in the time, I can talk out of personal experience here, is that we thought there was a lot of exaggerations by our parents when they say, hey, no, it's not safe at all. You were talking to while they're playing. What are you doing? What, are you gonna gather up in an arcade and go there and just stand and that kind of stuff? And we experienced that. We saw a lot of community base being built on that structure. Now, the safety method or the safety terminology changed today. So, as parents right now, as we have our own children, and now we want to make sure that they're gaming, but at the same time, I think the definition of safety changed. What do you think of that? Starting with Fareedah.
I definitely think the definition of safety has changed. I'm pretty sure we all grew up with a mentality of don't talk to strangers, period, whatsoever. and,
Yeah.
and gaming breaks that down because now with security and with gaming, we have to think about what does a stranger actually mean. And when your kid is talking to people online and they're talking for strategy, they're trying to communicate something. They're not looking at that player as a stranger, they're looking at that player as a teammate. And when you play a game after game after game, now you're really friends. You have a friend group online. So they're no longer strangers. So we had to redefine, not to say that you're not aware of strangers, we had to redefine what safety actually means and what precautions you need to take. Because even when kids are on social media, they're always talking to strangers. That's the celebrity they follow, that's a stranger. They don't know who that is. So, and also a lot of the safety things that happen, most of the time they don't actually happen through strangers. So a lot of the abuse that goes on online happens through people that you know, like, and trust.
Okay, definitely. Julie?
Yeah, I think what she said was perfect. I don't know if I have something else to add, but yeah, it's true. Like me, we play online. We play with people that we don't know at all, and then like she said, definition change now because even if we don't know, it's look like we know them, you know, like because we have this connection from the game, and like I feel safe. I feel safe when I talk with them, even if I don't know them. It's not the same like in the street or like in other social media. For me, like it's really video game. For me, it's my work, and I meet people, and I get friends with those people, even if we will never see each other, even if we are living like 5,000 kilometers far away. I don't see them as stranger anymore. So yeah, what she said, it's really true, and I think for me, I feel safe on video game.
Like, you don't see any threats. I mean, yes, I mean, we do see the good
Yeah.
aspects of it, but like, our parents just saw that there's a threat. Now, there any threats going on today when it comes to online gaming and its safety? Don't you feel that, or pretty much it's more positive than you think?
I think it's more positive than parents think, for sure. After, like, there is another topic to about, like, it's about girls in gaming. Like, we already talked about that, but it's kind of different. It's not like girls in gaming now. Maybe the percentage of girls grow up like explode, I want to say. But before, when I started, it was a little part, maybe 5%, 10% of gamers were girls. And I was 10 years old, so imagine. So yeah, at this moment, maybe like it was different. Like people don't look at you as player, look at you as girl. So it's different. You feel not same. Like they can insult you, they can like treat you different as other people. But now I think it starts to change, and it's really positive. So the future is in front of us, and girls can be part of the game as player and not as girl anymore. So yeah, I don't feel this this as insecurity.
Amazing, amazing. Mr. Koen, what do you have to say?
Agree with both. I think that when we look from the perspective of parents, that it's understandable that they are afraid. As mentioned, like the first answer I gave during the last question, because they didn't grow up in an online environment, it's difficult to imagine that you can have relationships with people you just simply do not know like in between those signs, because you get to know them by talking online, but you just don't know them in real life. And that's where our parents grew up in that environment, and we grew up in this digital environment. So like with my work with parents in the last 5 years, one of the things is that it's like the mindset change of the online friends of your child could be the same for your kid as the real life friends the kid has. So try to approach them in the same way. So like, what are their names? What do they do for school? Like, what kind of activities do they do? Like, just act like those are actually like the real life friends, which in some way they are or can be, because I also had online friends before I met them. I just simply eventually met them during the tournaments that I went to. As a matter of fact, my girlfriend, South African, I got to know her from Instagram out of all.
Wow.
So never seen her before. I booked a flight ticket to the other side of the world, and that's how things go nowadays. So like, I think that's a very important thing, so that parents understand that the online friends can be true friends for a kid. And going into the threats online, I do think there's absolutely still threats online. Just think of the amount of chats that are available. Young children talking with maybe older people that think or that act like they are younger, and then want to see each other. That type of stuff. It happens. Luckily for the community, it doesn't happen often, but it does happen, and it's one of the dangers that I hear from parents. But I do think that if you as a parent have a good connection with your kid around gaming, so instead of seeing it as an obstruction, as something bad, you don't necessarily have to say keep going, but at least understand it and talk about it and be open for it. I do think that when your kid runs into someone online or has a conversation with someone online, the kid will be much more open to talk about it, because he or she knows you as a parent try to understand. So I do think some of those dangers can be solved by having that connection with your gaming kid and really trying to understand them.
Great points right there. Definitely having a connection. Let's talk about that. Now, as things have changed, right? And I personally have been seeing that when I spend time with my kids playing, recently we were playing Little Nightmares 2, and how the three of us, right, me and my daughter and my son, were trying to solve these puzzles. And I noticed that there is an interesting connection happening while we're gaming, while we're sitting down trying to solve puzzles. It's different than when we're going out. It's different when we're having dinner or lunch or sitting down. It's just this connection is something that it's beautiful, it's positive, and sometimes exciting. Now, at the same time, I've been seeing that it's healthy. Now, that's my perspective. I want to see from your own experiences, when you game with your own children or your nephews or with kids, how is that forming together, and what do you think of it as a health perspective, and how this can even move on as parents joining their kids while gaming and forming connection? Mr. Koen, let's start with you.
Well, yeah, one of the models I have in the Netherlands is called the Spelschijf van 5. I simply do not have a English translation. I call it 5S system most of the time if I give workshops, but I need to think of a fancier name. But anyway, the 5S's is basically sleep, study, sports, social life, and screens, very, very quickly. And the S of screens, in the Netherlands, you can say spel, which is game in English, but you don't have an S for gaming, so therefore screens. Now the S of screens should not negatively impact any of the other S's. So the S of sleep should not negatively impact, or the S of screens should not negatively impact the sleep of a kid, the social life of a kid, the sports of a kid, and the school or the study of a kid. So it should be in basically a healthy balance. However, when the S of screens is having a negative impact on, let's say, sleep. So consistently over a couple of weeks, someone goes to bed with his phone and doesn't sleep till 2 a.m., therefore performs bad on school. So then the S of screens has a negative impact on sleep and study, which is very, very common because they're very well connected. That is when problems start to arise. And that is when parents really have to focus on reclaiming the balance, therefore making, of course, some rules, and there's a whole progress we have for setting up rules. But setting up the rules, making the boundaries in a conversation with your kid. Don't put them on top of your kid, but talk about it, and then eventually trying to keep that balance of these 5 S's throughout the youth of the kid. So when I think of balance and the question you mentioned, I think of those 5 S's, and I think these are vital for any gamer, really. Also for professionals, you should be in a balance, else you can't perform on the highest level.
All right. The 5 S's, wrote them down. And pretty much we're gonna go through that later on as well, I guess. Julie, let's
Yeah,
talk about you. You got Luis now,
yeah.
and so CS:GO player. You're spending time, and you're forming this connection, or maybe not yet, but do you have this? Do you visualize you and your kid playing together, forming that connection? Tell us about that, Julie.
Actually, it's quite funny because everybody, like as you know, my husband is as well a professional player from Middle East. So everybody told us your daughter will be the best player in the world for sure. Like she will have in gene, you know.
Let's
So
go.
yeah, I would be proud of her. It's not my first goal to put her on video game, but I will accept what she does. Doesn't matter what she want to do, I will accept it. And if it's video game, I will build this connection around it. And like said Koen, I will make it like harmonize, I don't know how we say, with the rest, with school, with social, with family, with everything. Like you cannot, I get an education, like you do what you want, we follow you, but you respect the rest. So for me, it's really important to have this percentage, like, and for that, yes, if my daughter wants to play, I will play with her. Like we start already, like she's 2 years old, and unfortunately, or I don't know if it's good or bad, but she knows how to position her hand in mouth and keyboard. And she already do like against bots. So you can imagine the future because she see us every day. Like it cannot be something else. She see father playing, she see mother playing. Of course, we are good parents. We don't play at the same time. One of us take care of her. I promise you.
Thank God, thank God. I was just wondering, like, what's going on?
But yeah, she does that. And more than that, sometimes in bed at night, I'm looking a Shell TV match, I'm looking CSGO match, and she look at it, and 2 years old, she don't talk a lot, but she already say, mama, baba playing. She thinks it's her father playing. When she see match Shell TV, so imagine she already knows that like there is real people playing after this skin, you know. It's amazing. So yeah, but me after for my personal before, I mean, my father was playing with me, like to understand us. He said, let me try your game, let me talk to your friends. And he had this approach to help us, like me. Yeah, he was kind of the model that parents should be for that. Like he didn't say yes to everything, but he tried at least to understand us. He talked to my friends, which I didn't know in real life. He talked to them, say, you are playing, okay, what you do in life? Your parents play as well or no? Like he asked many questions. So he was already in the future, if I can say. And he always like want to know what I'm doing, when, which who, even if you don't know them, you will never know them. So it was kind of funny. And he tried CSGO, he was playing with me. And today, like it's what parents should do, like try the game, try the environment, the world of their kids, to say like, and maybe they will understand and say and see that it's not something negative, but the balance should be good, like say Koen, like it's really important for me, the school, the future, because parents should know that professional gaming, it's like maybe 2% of the players, so the rest 98%, it will be only a passion, and you have to go school, you have to have job, and keep in mind that it's only something to make you happy beside. That's it.
Bless you. Beautiful. Fareedah, Cyber Fareedah, what you gotta say?
It's very similar to Julie. Growing up, being a gamer, my parents were very like accepting of it. They were, they didn't know what was going on, but they were like, you know what, we trust you. I believe I was 13 when I first started, and they were just like, you know what, you're mature enough. When I was playing online, no one thought I was 13. They thought I was about 25, 27 maybe. So
wow.
So
what game was that?
Oh God, I played like pay to win games. I don't even remember, just anything, like any mobile game I can get my hands on. And then I finally started, the real actual game that I remember was Guild Wars 2. Then I did Heralds of Storm. I wanted to do a World of Warcraft, but that
Okay.
didn't happen. So I started to first pay to win random mobile games, and then I like moved my way to I feel like better games. Honestly, my experiences changed depending on the game I was playing. So it seemed like right now I play mostly League of Legends on my free time after business and everything else.
Wow.
And that game, I actually had the least amount of crazy things happen in League of Legends than I had in other games. And so I believe it depends on the game, but it also depends on your maturity as you grow older. Me having my own support system with my parents, they didn't play the games with me. They had no idea like exactly who I was talking to, but we always had a connection. I was always able to talk to them. So if I had something with someone or someone was bothering me or I felt like something was going wrong, I could pull them aside, even though it was really difficult to. I didn't want to, but I knew that they were going to be on my side and they would listen to me and they wouldn't freak out and pull the plug. And that was one thing that's extremely important when I talk to parents is that when something happens, when something goes wrong or your kid feels uncomfortable, don't immediately pull the plug because then
Right.
your kid feels like they are the problem and they feel like it was their fault. And then the next time something happens, they won't tell you because they don't want you to pull the plug. So it's better to
Right.
like some meditation, keep calm, in and out, deep breaths, and then talk to them and figure out what happened, what's the solution, how can we move forward from here? Are we blocking someone? Are we reporting them? What are we doing? And so, and if it's grooming, then you talk about body safety rules. You talk about how do you operate online, and make sure they don't believe it is their issue.
Okay. Beautiful. Beautiful. Now, all that being said, as safety measures and getting more into the positive side of it, forming the connection, now we're seeing that there is more of a movement. As parents, the moment they feel safe, they feel connected, now there is another thing going on. They see the potential. You know, when your parents keep saying, "Oh, I would love to see you as a doctor," "I want to see you as an athlete," or "I want to see you as engineer, lawyer." Now, as I don't know if this like a bit too shallow to say, but when they saw that there is millions to be obtained, a certain social status, a certain name, when that kid won a lot of millions in Fortnite or with Dota 2, or the entire team winning millions in League of Legends, Rocket League, PUBG. Now it seems that parents right now not only they want to form the connection, but now they see there's a potential behind it. As in the States, I've been reading a lot about how certain families right now, certain parents, they actually are putting money not in piano classes, but in Fortnite classes, to coach them. So let's start with Julie. What do
Yeah,
you think of this? Like, do you see that there's potential, and you want your kid, and you're gonna invest in your kid to pretty much be an esport athlete, or a YouTuber or a TikToker who is more into the gaming? What do you have to say about this?
yeah, I think, but the question, like, it's kind of, um, it make me think about, like, I'm sorry, but before there is people, if you want to be an artist, for example, before the parents accept or doesn't accept and help. For sport, it's same. Like it's in France, I see a lot of school opening to train kids on the video game and environment, show them what there is, what you have to do. But people, like there is parents invest in this school who cost a lot actually, and yeah, and it's really amazing because before I couldn't imagine that. Me, I started to be a professional player, we didn't have salary. Yeah, so like it's amazing, and I'm sure that later it's gonna have, maybe in France there is 10 school, maybe in 5 years it will be 100. Like it's amazing, and yes, parents start to invest for that. I have a good example at my work. The boss of the company came to me because they all know I'm player, and he came to me and he said to me, Julie, is it true that if I buy this skin for knife, it will be better? He asked me that. So I laugh a lot. I laugh a lot, you know. And and he thought I tell him the truth because he's my boss. I gotta tell him yes, you know. But yeah, and after he asked me to give lesson to pay me to do lesson to his son to grow to be better in the game. So it's quite amazing because if there is people starting to do that, that means they believe in the industry of esport and they believe in the kids. It's the most important. After you cannot forget that. You can have the best school, the best everything. It's sport for me. It's talent that you have or you don't have, even if you practice a lot. So this is my experience. I can see people like training a lot and putting a lot of money in the game, and I know they would never be on the top. So yeah, you cannot forget that. But yes, there is potential in the school and in and everything, and it's good that parents believe in kids like this.
Okay. Let me ask you a question. What do you want your kid to be good at? Do you want your kid to play CS:GO, League of Legends, or do you want him to be famous in a certain game, or you want them to join the clan CS:GO?
My daughter, you mean which game?
Or... Yeah, your daughter. Like which game you want your daughter to be? I mean, if ever you wanted your daughter to be involved in esports, which apparently seems like it, what game do you want your daughter to be good at? Do you think CS:GO will be a good fit, or League of Legends, Rocket League, Fortnite?
CS:GO is my religion, so of course you use CS:GO. No, for CS:GO, I try many games. I play League of Legends, I play World of Warcraft, I play Diablo, I play Hero of New Earth, I play every game, but my first love is CS. So of course it will be CS. Like I will not. We never play other video game besides that.
Oh, it's taboo, right? It's like haram. No.
Exactly. No, for real. She can play whatever she wants. All video game is good for me. It bring me in my life many things. It bring me my husband, then my daughter. It brings me like a friend. I travel everywhere. I speak English now. Like 5 years ago, I didn't speak English at all. It brings me experience that I couldn't have without video game. So I thank video game for that, and I'm sure there is 100 people who can have the same experience as me if people and parents let them and believe. To be honest, my mother did interview about me, about video game, and how she hold my hand to be at this level. And I can say that my grandma was looking my match online when I was playing in China.
Wow!
My grandma, my family, all my mother, they support me. And this is the most beautiful thing. Like, back at home and tell them, Mom, I won. Or I didn't, but they are here for you, you know? Really, parents should let kids follow their dream for that.
Oh, your daughter is lucky to have you as a mother, that's for sure. I can say that openly.
But she will go to school and she will be good at school as well.
Yes. She'll follow all the 5 S's. Koen will coach her, maybe.
It's that, yes.
Definitely. Koen, what do you have to say about this? You know, about the potential of parents investing in their kids and that kind of stuff.
I kind of got, of course, this happened truly in real life because I was studying to become a doctor, which I eventually did not become because I didn't follow my gaming career because I was already kind of at the end of my professional career in Trackmania. But I then went into entrepreneurship in the gaming industry, in the esports industry, building my businesses because there were so many opportunities and chances that came towards me that I was like, you know, got to take the risk. So I did. And that is already 3.5 years ago or something, 2018, that I walked away from my medical master's first year. So you can imagine what kind of impact that had when I spoke to my mom, especially my mom, actually, because my dad always supported me throughout my career. My mom was the one that had more difficulty with the fact that I was gaming and was a bit less understanding, but also her friends did not understand her child, me in this case, that I was playing games. So she was affected by that. So we had some problems. And eventually throughout my career, we had some difficult years. But then in 2013, when I got into the ESWC finals in Paris, I have no idea who's watching at home. You know, like I can imagine my friends watching and my dad because he was supporting me. But when I went home with my shack, you know, like actually, I don't know if you can actually see it, but my shack, yeah,
it's blurred out.
Yeah, it's blurred out. Yeah, you can see it a little bit, but that's actually the shack of.
That's a good shade. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, it's the ESWC shack, and when I came home, I heard the story of my mom actually watching the finals. Supporting me, but she was so nervous in the last couple of rounds that she went to the kitchen table and just walked laps around the kitchen table, waiting for my dad to bring the news, basically. So yeah, like big support, and that was also the beginning, like 2013-14, where my mom changed her opinion about me playing games, and we started to basically go through a couple of phases, which eventually led to having a very good relationship. Which of course I'm very happy about, but it does show that at the beginning, like there was no potential in esports. You know, the opinions, the stigmas, you couldn't make it or have a salary. I didn't have a salary at the beginning. That only came later when I was playing for Team Acer. That was the first time I got a salary, and then eventually I think that my mom changed. She saw the potential, but also as an entrepreneur in the industry. So giving up my med study to follow what I love to do, because my hobby is my work. And finally, I do think potential comes with responsibility, because even though you can have talent, or sometimes they say hard work beats talent, or whatever you want to say it, professional soccer players that are in their programs also still, there we go again, they still go to school, you know, they still have their social life. And even though you maybe want to go towards being a professional, you never go all in, because there's only so many that will be able to achieve that level. And you do need a plan B in that case. So there's definitely potential. I do think the general mindset of people is changing towards the industry. They see the opportunities it has. They see that different businesses also have applications for people that have knowledge about the industry, especially in the Netherlands. Traditional sport organizations are looking for people that have the knowledge about the esports industry. So you can also just find a job nowadays in this industry. So yeah, I do think that's changing, but we still have a long way to go, I feel.
You know, I've been hearing this for such a long time that we still have a long way to go when it comes to esports, but we're getting there. Let me ask you this, as I asked Julie. Now, with let's see, you're having your kids right now. What do you want your kids to be playing when it comes to esports?
Sorry, can you repeat?
No, I guess that's to Koen. I'm sorry. I'm just like what I meant is, like, as I asked Julie, I would like to ask Koen as well. What would you like to have your kids playing? Like, you know, if Julie said CS:GO, but what about you? What's your preference?
Yeah, so I don't yet have kids. And not planning so far, 28 years young. We'll see when it happens. But I think actually it's something that I talk with parents about as well.
Right.
As a parent, you shouldn't want something. You should just, and I think what Julie answered at the end of her answer was the perfect answer. It's like she can play any game she wants. And if she would like Counter-Strike, or if she would like League of Legends or whatever, and she's very good in that particular game, why not support her in another game? Like I used to play Trackmania, and I love racing games, but if my kid in the future just really likes to play Hearthstone or whatever game we have at that moment in time, in 10 years or whatever time, I would not put the brake on, hey, you got to play Trackmania and stop playing Hearthstone. Or like, every kid is unique. And I actually think that's something we should learn from our parents, is that, you know, we grow up in this time, but our kids will grow up in another time with other games, and they're their own person and their own personality. They have other preferences, they have other hobbies. So I think you should always support them in what they like to do. If you play soccer and your kid likes to play basketball, just support them playing basketball. You know, like, I think that is just very important in general, that whatever the direction your kid wants to go in life, you are there backing them up and trying to help them guide that path, basically.
Amazing. This transition is phenomenal, honestly. What's happening right now and how things have changed, it's unbelievable. Now to Fareedah, what do you have to say about this?
So can you ask the question again, just to make sure that I
Okay,
got
so
it?
sure. Now the question would be, as right now parents, they form the connection. Now they see the potential of their kids making it big in the esport world, and how they would maybe even invest in them. What do you have to say about this?
So I'm not an esports player myself. However, I did I did do like my own little investment in myself. So there are like
Okay.
little websites that you can do to like make sure that your plays are a little bit better. And I would do that when I was in college. And so honestly, I would say whether your kid wants to be an esport player or not, just like every single person on the panel said, to support them and to find a community. So there's so many communities now that are helping you. So even Koen's business, right, is helping parents and guiding them through that process of like making sure there's harmony and balance inside of their life. I do security and safety in terms of their entire online life, gaming, social media, the regular online world. And so finding a business, finding a service that allows you to develop a connection with your kid, to have harmony and balance, and then investing. So not just thinking about esports, but how can I holistically invest in them as a person? And sometimes your kid will want to go to college, sometimes they won't. I personally, even though my college acts like I did graduate, I didn't. So they say I do, but I was like, no, that's false, but it's okay. But whatever they want to do, support them in that, but think of it holistically. So you don't have to. A lot of parents get stuck in a mindset of, well, I'm not an esports player, or I'm not a gamer, at least I don't know what to do, I can't help them, right? But your help, your presence is help, your support is help, you're investing inside of their experiences, and what they want to do is helping them. So you don't have to be technical to support them in terms of protecting them online. You don't have to be a gamer to understand gaming. You do not have to be a professional esports player to support them in esports. All you have to do is do the best that you can do and use the resources you have. So you may not even have the money to support them. So you can work with them and say, how can we figure out a way to create a budget for you? Or maybe they have to get a part-time job to invest in something for themselves. But the point that you have to do is, or understand, is that you're the support system, you're the guide. You use your own experiences as a parent, you got years experience, even if it's just it's in corporate, or being a mother, or being a dad, or being a sister or a sibling, or whatever your expertise is. You can actually use that in gaming, psychology in gaming, plumbing in gaming, engineering in gaming, a doctor in a game, like the business person in gaming. You can marry your experiences to guide them in a path, even if it's not the same exact thing. You can see some similarities or certain things you have to do. So say they have to have a really difficult conversation with a teammate or a manager or someone on the team. You can use your experiences as an adult that worked through corporate or that was a parent to protect them or guide them through that conversation. So I say just never put your skills down. You have what it takes to support them, and just use everything you can.
Oh wow, thank you so much. Wow, that was something else. Amazing, amazing. All right. So we talked about safety, connection, potential, and the five S's, security, and all of that. There's a lot to be talked about here when it comes to parenting and gaming. But now, if I would ask each one of you individually, if you had that one advice you want to give to a parent while being with their kids in the gaming world, what would it be? Starting with Koen.
So the number one advice, basically, talk.
Talk.
Yeah, that's the short answer. I think the number one, if I look back at my history with my mom, the number one solution was communication, because it involves so much. It involves making good rules in the house together, having conversations about what your kid is doing, how it's working, why your kid is doing it. So asking the right questions. But I think it all starts with communication and showing that interest, even though it might not be your personal interest, it's your kid's interest. So, and you got to hop along that train. So I think the number one tip I would give in general is to communicate and talk about it. Yeah.
Communication, talking, definitely a very important aspect. Julie, what's your advice?
Yeah, to my definition, like in one word, would be the trust. Like for me, it's really important to trust your kid. We all do mistakes, so let them do mistake, but look at them. Like, it's really important. Do your own experience. You cannot tell them do that, don't do that. Like, you have to trust them in their choice and let them see that the choice is wrong. Be behind them if the choice was wrong, and tell them, yeah, I knew it. I want to tell you, like, what you should do next time. Help them, but let them choose. Like, for example, my mother, she let me miss my graduation to do the ASWC 2009, I think. It was my first one. I was 16 years old or 15 years old, something like this. She let me miss that. It wasn't a mistake for me because after I grew up, but yeah, she trusts me. She said, okay, she wants to do that. I will trust her, let her do that, choose between graduation, exam, or that. She did it, and I thank her today. And not only in sport, like in general, they have to do that. So yeah, trust them, follow them, look at them, keep eyes on them, but every time with this trusty relationship, kinda. They will talk to you. If you trust them and let them do what they want, they will talk to you and ask you advice, and you will be part of them. Of them, I would say, like. Of them experience, kinda. They will include you. They will include you in them in them experience and in them game every day. If we can say. So yeah, it's really important.
Right. Trust.
Mm.
Definitely trust. Fareedah, what's your advice?
I would build on what I was saying before in terms of looking internally and knowing that you are enough. There's a lot of, I would say, imposter syndrome. We forget that parents, they're human beings, you're human beings, or they're human beings if you're not a parent, and that it is okay to not know, and it is okay to lean on other people that do know, and it is okay to have frustrations. It's okay to feel like I don't know what's going on. This is crazy. Yeah. But try to surround yourself with people that support you as a parent and what you're doing, and feed into yourself and give yourself a break and give yourself some grace, because this is a totally new world for you, and you're really, really trying to protect your kid. You're really trying to do what's best for your kid. And many times, and there are exceptions, there are some parents that don't like their kids, and that's a whole different thing. There's some trauma and abuse going on, but we're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about, hopefully, the majority of parents who, when they get upset, they're getting upset because they love their kid and they just want the best for them, and they just think that being in this path is better. Give yourself grace. We're going through a lot of intergenerational trauma, and we have to change our mindset about how the world is moving and how the world is changing. So I would say grace. The word is grace. Give yourself grace, give your kids grace to make mistakes, and give yourself that room to grow and to understand what your kid is going through.
Give yourself and your kids grace to make mistakes. Beautiful. We're going to quote that, definitely. Well, this has been an amazing panel. I mean, I learned a lot, when it comes to connections, safety, the 5 S's, the whole stories and all that kind of stuff, security and giving grace, trust and talking and communication. This is going to be definitely a beautiful thing, and we're going to look forward to the future. So before we end this conversation, if you have any last words, Mr. Koen, any last words?
Well, nothing really more to say. I'd just like to thank you for the invitation. Very happy to join this panel together with Julie and Fareedah. So thank you for hosting, and I look forward to the next time when we speak, all of us. So
Definitely. Julie.
Yeah, me, it's always a pleasure to meet you, Bara. Like, it's not the first time, and really thank you to organize that. I've been part now of 4 editions of GIRLGAMER Festival, and it's always a pleasure to listen, like, people and all the people involved in the gamer industry. Like, and every time it's amazing, and really, really, I thank you a lot for this invitation.
Thank you. The pleasure is all ours. Fareedah.
I echo everyone else's sentiment. This was so beautiful. This was amazing. Thank you, Bara, Koen, and Koen. And Julie. Thank you, Girl Gamer Festival. This is absolutely amazing, and I'm looking forward to more.
Amazing, amazing. Well, dear viewers around the world, thank you so much for watching. This has been another Girl Gamer Talks, and this time talking about parenting in games. And see you in another talk. Thank you so much, and bless you all. Bye bye.